It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. He doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan. Can't figure out my microphone, Fitzgibbons. Fitzy, what's going on, brother?
Why do you have to do this?
Do what?
Why do you have to do this?
What did I do?
You're a child.
What are you talking about?
You're a child. You have to nitpick on every little thing. Stop.
Let me ask you a question.
No, I don't want to answer.
Were you able to fix your mic and figure it out? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So when I say Ryan can't figure out my Mike Fitzgibbons, am I lying?
Liar! Liar!
All right. We got a lot of stuff going on today. We're going to talk.
I'm going to fire the entire production staff, so that's a problem.
We're going to talk about the Bears' big matchup today against the, well, now Aaron Rodgers-less Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
We are going to talk about everything going on in the NFL today in Week 13. I've got what I am calling a Pope Leo 30-1 three-leg parlay that I'm going to talk about as well. And we're going to get into everything that you guys want to hear. But first, Fitzy, earlier this week, man, I sent you the video. I sent you the clip. Bruce Levine reported that the Cubs believe that they can replace Kyle Tucker's production internally.
Shocked.
I immediately threw my phone across the room. And I needed to go get a new one. This thing with the Cubs and look, some fans are saying that it's Tom, some are saying that it's Jed. Some are saying that it's just, you've got to give it time, blah, 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 blah. You know me. You know I'm not on the side of it's Tom. And I'm done giving it time, right? Like at some point, Jed has to let his balls drop. At some point, Jed has to hit puberty. At some point, Jed has to act like a general manager of a baseball team in the third largest market in the United States and make a gutsy move. Whether that's going and getting Kyle Schwarber, whether that's going out and getting Pete Alonso, whether it's going out and maybe even going out and getting Alex Bregman like you probably should have done last year that Fitz bitched about all season long. But at some point, Jed, you've got to do something. Because internally, look, I get it. I do understand the fact that at some point, you're going to have to play some of these guys that you've refused to trade for pitching because you keep believing in them and you keep saying that they're too valuable. So at some point, they have to show their value. But man, if Owen Casey is your plans for replacing Kyle Tucker's production, he better hit 30 home runs next year. He better have 100 RBIs next year. And he better hit better than 240. Because that's what you're going to need to replace Kyle Tucker type production. And if you're going to replace it internally, and that is your move, If you miss on this, and I know they just gave you a 5-year extension for no damn reason whatsoever, you have to be gone. You have to be. Because if you don't replace Kyle Tucker's production, who you just traded for this past offseason, traded one of your best prospects for this past offseason, and I gave you kudos when you made the trade for finally trading a prospect for a valuable Major League Baseball player. And you didn't re-sign him. You didn't extend him. You didn't do anything. And now he's a free agent again. And you're telling us that you're going to replace that internally? Look, that's a lot of pressure to put on Owen Casey. I think Owen Casey could be a baller, but it better work, Jed. It better work.
This to me is, as you already know, has been the story of the Cubs for the last decade. They fall in love with their prospects too much because their GMs have outscaled egos. I mean, I really don't know any other way to explain it. It's very hard for me to explain it any other way. I mean, I don't know if I just don't get it. That was one of the reasons why that 2016, I think, petered out a little bit quicker than a lot of people thought it should have. I mean, they sort of traded away some of that talent at an earlier time, like made some tough decisions. And you're right. They don't want to make Jed Hoyer does not want to make the tough decisions. And sooner or later, even though I believe he just signed an extension.
Yeah, 5 years.
I don't know if you're going to have to bring in another GM who wants to bring them to the next level, because other teams have had to do that. I pointed towards Dombrowski in the past, who was the Detroit, almost brought the Detroit Tigers to the brink of a championship, brought Boston another championship. He was the one that did the trade for Chris Sale that won Boston a championship and brought in a lot of talent on that team. You got to get a GM kind of like that. I feel. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I don't. When you say internally that we're going to fix it internally, if you're the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, I go, well, yeah, obviously you're going to have to fix it internally. I mean, you can't pay the guy. Or, if you're one of those teams, I get it. But when did the Yankees say we're going to have to, oh, yeah, we're just going to have to fill in for Aaron Judge internally. We're going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have to fill in for Giancarlo Stanton. We're going to get rid of him. Or we're going to have to, I know Giancarlo Stanton is a different player now, but I think you get what I'm saying. Those teams don't do that. And I don't know. I mean, the Texas Rangers don't do that. The Philadelphia Phillies don't do that. You are bringing in more money than the Texas Rangers. I'm sorry. It's a fact. And if you're not, tell the team you should not be in baseball. I mean, or you should not be a GM in baseball anymore. Go out and be a scout, Jed. Whether it's Jed Hoyer or Tom Ricketts, you just should not be in the baseball world anymore. If you're not making as much money, or you can't make the right decisions that the Phillies and the Texas Rangers make, or the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto, like I said in my Fitz a few weeks ago, beautiful town, should not have more World Series appearances than both the baseball teams in this town. They should not. And they almost won another one. They almost won more World Series than the entire Chicago baseball world, which is 2 damn teams. Okay, now I'm getting
it's wild, right? When you start looking at the things that you've talked about in this city, especially with these two baseball teams, right? And you start looking at what's going on. Look, the White Sox were fun this year. The White Sox were fun to watch. They looked better than what they looked like in 2024, which you couldn't have looked much worse than you looked in 2024. So looking better is, was a given, but they were actually fun to watch even when they were losing, because they were at least competitive in those losses. They weren't getting blown out that often. and the Cubs go back to the playoffs. They find some magic in what they did in the first half of the season. They only lost one 3-game series all season long, but now you're losing a key piece to that lineup in Kyle Tucker. Now you're going to lean on a guy like Owen Casey, who you brought up this past year for a 9-game stretch and only found it viable to put him in the lineup twice. And now you're telling us that that's going to be the replacement for Kyle Tucker. How is that going to be the replacement for Kyle Tucker? You didn't even trust him when Kyle Tucker was hurt, and you brought him up to replace Kyle Tucker. And now you're going to tell me that he's going to replace that production when you didn't trust him to put him in the lineup in the first place? Look, I've watched him a lot. I've watched him down at AAA Iowa when they have those games on marquee. I've watched this kid play ball. He can play ball. He can hit. He's good. But in order to replace the production of Kyle Tucker, it's going to have to be great. And that's a lot to put on a guy in his rookie year in Major League Baseball. And I don't necessarily like that idea, man. I don't, especially when all of these other guys are out there. When you've got Pete Alonso out there, Kyle Schwarber's out there. You've got so many big bats that are available to you to go out and make a big signing, and you're going to say, no, we're good. We're going to go with this rookie. The same way that you said at the trade deadline, no, we're not going to add any pitching depth because we're good, and we're not going to give up these prospects. And then your pitching depth is what was your demise in the playoffs against your rival, the Milwaukee Brewers. At some point, Jed, you got to stop being the smartest man in the room, and you just got to do what you're paid to do, which is put together a winning product. And that's the problem that I have with Jed Hoyer, is that he still wants to be the guy who makes the cute move and who is right. And who's like, see, look at this guy that I drafted, and look at this guy who I brought up, and look at how good this guy's been. You've got to stop, man. Put a winning product on the field. Put a product that can win a World Series on the field. Add some depth to this lineup. Add a big bat to this lineup. You started yesterday with Phil Maton, who is coming over, one of the biggest, the best relief pitchers on the market this season. Kudos for that. 2-year deal. But you got to move the needle at some point, Jed. And you just fail to do it year in and year out. And the only question that I have for Tom Ricketts isn't about the amount of money that he's spending, because I believe that Tom Ricketts does allow him to spend money. As a matter of fact, Jed Hoyer has said on multiple occasions that he has all of the funds that he needs to go make this team good. The only question I have for Tom is, why the hell did you extend this guy? If he's not going to make these moves, what warranted the extension?
Yeah, I just don't get it. We'll go to the comments that have nothing to do with sports at all. I'm surprised Fitz doesn't have 7 small, tightly spaced Christmas trees behind him.
Well, look how skinny the tree is. I'm sure there's some ornaments that are touching.
Dave says, are you gonna put the lights on the Christmas tree? There's lights on! I need some backlighting, for Christ's sake. The lights are on.
The lights are on that tree?
The lights are on. It's actually quite bright at night.
You got the Charlie Brown
You can see
Christmas
lights.
tree going on over there?
You could, why do
Dude,
I?
are you
You can see the
are you
light.
okay?
Don't you see the light right here?
Why
Do you see
why
the
is
light?
why is your Christmas tree on meth?
No, I'm just saying. Don't you see the lights? You can see them twinkling. It turns the lights on the Christmas tree. It does this whenever it's told or gets the host again. I did not have a Silence of the Lambs quote in the comments on my bingo card today. Did Lauren?
Attaboy, Dave. Attaboy.
Shut up.
But yeah, so I just don't. I need to see more from Jed, and we're past the winter meetings already, which wow. And signings are starting to happen faster than they've started in the past. So
Yeah.
it's good that baseball is trying to move these things along and trying to get these things to happen quicker, especially for their fan base that actually pays attention in the winter, like myself. But I need to see more from Jed, and I just, I still fail to see what he's done so well that warranted an extension since Theo left, and I just don't see it. I don't see it, and he's going to have to do something this offseason for me to not be totally out on him.
Yeah, I don't I mean I don't see why you would look at this particular or this past season as a total rousing success. You do
Yeah.
have some guys aging out. It is still a young team. I get it, but there is
Mhm.
guys aging out. How many good seasons or at least decent seasons do you have left in Dansby Swanson? I mean,
Yeah.
there is some guys that Shota Imanaga somehow takes the Cubs qualifying offer, and if what you think one of your better starting pitchers is takes a qualifying offer, which very few baseball players take. I mean, there might be a problem there. Which he's a left-handed innings eater. You'd think he would have made a decent money somewhere else, but I guess he didn't think so. I mean, you don't have it. There was 8 or 9 pitchers on those staffs, maybe more on both those World Series team staffs, on the Blue Jays staffs and on the Dodger staffs, that were all better than anybody that was on the Cubs. You could maybe make an argument at the edges. Maybe. That, Sano at 7 or 8, maybe not. Blake Snell, you don't have a Blake Snell. And he wasn't even the top 6, 7 pitcher on either of those teams. And you don't have a Blake Snell on the team. He's not a great pitcher. I mean, Blake Snell has had good years, yes. He's got great stuff, but he has a lot of walks, and he does give up a dinger now and then. He's still a great pitcher. I'm not saying he's not. There was just a lot better pitchers on both those staffs, and nobody is better than Blake Snell on the Cubs right now. There just isn't. You could say Cade Horton, yes, he's great. He's great rookie story. It's great. He's a rookie. We don't even know what he is yet. Like, I don't get it. I mean, they better make some moves here. But
Yeah.
I
Look,
just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's to the point where, Dylan Cease is still out there. And I know, look, Shota Imanaga, which shocked me, accepts the qualifying offer. Maybe the Cubs didn't expect him to accept the qualifying offer.
I don't think they did.
I definitely did not. But he does accept the qualifying offer, and now you got Shota this year for only $22 million, which is less than you would have had him had you picked up the option. So you've actually saved money there. I don't know how Dylan Cease still isn't at the top of your roster. I don't know how Dylan Cease isn't at the top of your wish list. I don't know why Dylan Cease is still a free agent and why you haven't offered him a 5 or 6 year deal. I don't know. You need a guy, even if you look at the numbers last year and you look at where he was and how he wasn't as effective as he has been. He still would be the number 1 guy in your pitching rotation that could strike guys out. He's the only guy in your pitching rotation that could come in and you can expect 10 plus strikeouts every damn time he steps on the mound. And yes, look, I love Cade Horton. I love the way that he looked. I love the way that he progressed. I think the kid's going to be a stud. I think he's going to be a viable number 1 or number 2 at some point in his career. But you add to that. You don't rest on your laurels and just be like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and Cade Horton showed out last year. So now all of a sudden he's going to be the one. We don't have to add anything to this rotation. Where's everybody going to start? We've still got this guy. We've still got that guy. No, keep adding arms, because if this year showed you anything, it showed you that you did not have enough arms in that rotation. So you've got to go and you've got to do that. And Jed's got to do that.
Jeremiah, you can forgive the lack of moves at the deadline if they went big this offseason. I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think you can always totally forgive. I think when you have a team that's playing well and making the playoffs, make a move. But if you see something come together and you're like, well, in hindsight, it worked out. But if they're not going to go big this offseason, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee they make the playoffs. Without a good April, May, and June, they don't make the playoffs this past year. They were 500 in the second half. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't lose, they didn't lose the division because they had a second half that way, because they still didn't lose they lost 1 3-game series all year long, and it was in the final month of the season. I mean, they were still winning series. They were still, not getting swept. They were still, I said lose a 3-game series. They didn't get swept in a 3-game series all year long until the final month of the season. And they were still finding ways to win ball games here and there. They weren't losing 3 in a row. They weren't losing, 4 or 5 in a row. They weren't going on those long losing streaks. And so, for what they lost the division because of how freaking good the Milwaukee Brewers were this year. And they just were. They were that damn good. But I will tell you that you can't forgive Jed Hoyer for these moves or not making these moves. And the reason why you can't forgive Jed Hoyer for not making those moves is because the Cubs had a team that, if you put a pitching staff in front of them, probably could have competed to go to a World Series. Probably could have competed to beat the Brewers in that playoff series that they took to the limit. And you didn't do that. And to me, that's unforgivable. I don't care. You can go out this offseason and build something, sure. But you cost your team a shot at playing for a World Series because you did nothing at the deadline when everybody knew that you needed pitching. And these guys that you held on to, man, Kevin Alcantara and Owen Casey, they better be freaking Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds, because you cost your team a shot at a World Series for these two players because you refuse to give them up. So to me, it's unforgivable. And we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what he does this offseason. Maybe he tries to make up for it. Maybe he tries to make amends. But man, anything of Dylan Cease being at the top of this rotation, it's gonna be hard for me to be like, yeah, he had a good offseason. But all right, enough of that. Enough of the baseball talk.
It's depressing.
Let's talk what's happening today. The Chicago Bears, the first place Chicago Bears, all by themselves, not tied with anybody, 7-3 at home to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers came in today, walked around the field, flipped off a couple of cameras and told them to get off of them, and then got scratched from the game. So I started thinking to myself, man, with this stretch that they've had and some of the luck that they've had, and I tweeted this out earlier this week. I put it on Facebook. Cubs make the playoffs. The Bears were fun, or the Bulls were fun. The Blackhawks are fun. The White Sox were fun. And the Bears are in first place. Maybe it's Pope Leo. Maybe there's something to this whole God thing.
Oh, boy.
So what I did today, I put together a 30-1 parlay, 3-legger. Giants money line, Vikings money line, Bears money line. Bears take a 2-game lead on the division if that happens. You with me? Coming with me?
I don't know. It's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. The Giants going with Jameis Winston again
Oh, you're a
against the
boy.
Lions. And the Vikings taking on the Packers. Look, JJ McCarthy, maybe 9 shows up today. Who knows?
I don't think Ryan's going to
But
show up.
look, there's just things that are lining up, man. And it's hard to explain. So I'm gonna call it the Pope Leo parlay, and I'm running with it for 30-1. If this thing hits, I might go to church for the first time since I was like 16.
Wow. You found God because the Bears are 8-3. Well,
I found God because I had a 30-1 parlay.
well. Julianne says we lost Josh Jacobs. I'm even more not confident.
That's another thing.
And Tucker, you lost him too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean everything seems we've seen seasons like this before because we're Bears fans. We wait for seasons where everything.
It usually happens to us though.
Yeah, it usually does happen to us, but every once, like every like 15 years, the Bears get a season like this, and then we remember it forever. Hopefully this is sustainable. Today's game is the game where the draft has got to work out for Ryan Poles, I think. Because you went without an edge rusher.
Yeah.
In this past draft. You did. You know, you tried to count on some guys you got later in the draft. Austin Booker's one of those guys. You do not have a linebacking core today. They're completely out. I think your secondary is going to be okay, even though Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon is out. CJ Gardner-Johnson has been good backing up Kyler Gordon. I mean, it hasn't been great.
Look, you've had his back all season with the New England Patriots. All season long, you've talked and you've had his back when I haven't. And look at how he treats you, Fitz. You see why I do the things I do to Junior?
Is the echo that bad?
I mean, I don't know.
Anyway,
I can't hear an echo.
They went.
Here's some support.
Julianne. There's some support. Finally, Jesus. Took 27 minutes into the show. But this is where your draft has to work out, where you said, okay, we're not going to go with an edge rusher. It looks like it's paid off because Theo Benedict looks like the guy. But at offensive line that you didn't pick up an offensive lineman that high in the draft. It's got to pay off that Colson Loveland and Luther Burden can paste over not really having a front seven in today's game. I mean, you have Montez Sweat. He's been pretty good with 5.5 sacks, but they have to paste over that. Your offense, and I know you're going to go, they put up points. Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of turnovers, so they've gotten points off that. This is where your offense has to start scoring points. And these next 7 games is where I have to see the Luther Burden, Colson Loveland. Okay, you got 10 games. It's time to start your sophomore year now. I'm sorry, guys. You're going to have to start your sophomore year now. You're going to have to play some big games coming up. Looks like Colson Loveland's come out. Luther Burden's played a lot better. You haven't seen Zacchaeus after that 3-drop, I'm not going to block anybody game. This is where those guys have to stay up, and your draft has to start paying off that you said we are going to double down on our offense instead of our defense, and you got to start outscoring people today. You cannot let a backup quarterback beat you today. You just
not
can't.
Just a backup quarterback, but Mason Rudolph. The guy who's still got half of his face indented from Myles Garrett's helmet. You cannot lose to this guy.
You have to start outscoring people minus any turnovers, and I'd love to have some turnovers. I think you'll probably get some today, especially if you get an early lead, which it would be nice to get one of those again today. Those players have got to pay off in these next 7 games, and it's got to start here. Yeah. You do not want to lose 2 games in a row. I do not see how they win that Philadelphia game. They have to win today. This should be a game they win.
here's, and I'm with you because that was my key to the game that I'm coming in with too. Is today is the day the defense has picked up the offense on days where the offense has been bad. Today's the day where the offense needs to return that favor. Today's the day where the offense has to go out and they have to show up and they have to, I don't know if it's going to be a shootout. It might be because I think the Steelers team can run all over this. I mean, seriously, you've got, I don't even know who's playing linebacker today. Seriously, like did they? I think they might have just the first 3 people through the gates. They gave them a jersey and some pads and told them that they're playing today because I don't know who's playing linebacker today.
I forgot his name. Mark.
Sewell's out. Tremaine Edmonds went on IR. You're down so much. Like I don't know what it looks like against the run game. So you have to be prepared. Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, first 3 guys through the gate got a jersey and pads and were told they were playing linebacker. You've got to be able to go out and get into a shootout. And that's what you have to be prepared for. You have to be prepared that you're going to have to win this game 40 to 39. You know what I mean? Like you have to have that mindset. You've got to go out there and they can't be able to stop you. And look, I know you're going up against TJ Watt, and TJ Watt's going to be going up against Ozzie Trapillo, and I get that. But you've got Caleb's got to be good today. He's got to be. And with their schedule coming up, look, I know we're talking about the Eagles. We'll worry about the Eagles next week, but I do think that getting Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon back next week is really going to help that. I think that there are things next week going into that Eagles game that will make that game a lot more dealable than this game is with the way that you're dealing with the injuries. But you don't have those injuries on your offensive side, with the exception of Roshan Johnson being on IR, which is no big loss anyway, especially the way Kyle Monunga has been running the ball. You are healthy. So there's no excuses. There's no excuses on offense. You have to go out and you have to shell out today. And you should be, if Caleb can't outduel Mason Rudolph, then it's back to the drawing board for next week because
you had three high first round picks and a high second round pick.
Yeah.
That have to pay off today. They just do. And they have to start putting
That's who's playing linebacker today.
Minga and Hippopotamus. I think that's terribly racist, I think.
Those are the names, the last names of the players.
Edmonds has been arguably the best player on defense.
Yes.
Instantly, yeah, he has. After having some years where, we thought we were taking games off. Ralphie Ciparetto, or is it Ciparetto, or I forget his last name. He's got Doubting Thomas has a Sopranos profile picture up.
Oh,
I think I got his last name wrong. Aprio.
You want an admission? I've never seen one episode of The Sopranos.
Of course, you have no culture at all. You just have no. You're basically un-American.
Are you telling me I should watch?
What's American about you is that you're a Marine. That's the only thing. That's that. You're basically.
I've seen every episode of Sons of Anarchy twice. I've never seen an episode of The Sopranos.
Wow, you could have watched Sons of Anarchy season 1 and 2 and just started The Sopranos, pretty much.
Dude, Sons of Anarchy is one of the best shows ever written. You are out of your mind. If you haven't watched all 7 seasons, I will admit the first season is really, really slow. And it takes some catch up, but man,
there's a machine where nobody dies in the first season of Sons of Anarchy. There's a machine
is a genius, especially the way that first season ends. Actually, the way every season ends, you don't see it coming. But yeah,
8-3 after today. The most optimistic Bears fan all of a sudden, after 40, almost 50 years of being a Bears fan, being a pessimistic Bears fan. He's finally, just to disagree with me, really, he's optimistic, just to disagree with me. But you watch the WNBA. Julianne, blasphemy. All true. You watch the WNBA.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you. Sons of Anarchy was brilliant. I've just never seen. I agree with you.
It's not bad. I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I think The Sopranos is probably a good show, and I take your word for it. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it.
But you had time to watch the Sons of Anarchy 2 times.
Dude, Sons of Anarchy was so good, man.
Are your pants on? Like, what? It's not food.
No.
I don't know about Brilliant. Some of the
episodes, dude, it was absolutely one of the best, if not the best, written show of all time. The way Kurt Sutter ended those seasons, I mean, not one season ended in a fashion where you were like, "Oh yeah, I saw that."
Inexplicably driving your motorcycle, spoiler alert, into a semi. I'm just not sure.
Wait to give. Wow. I'm
sure that's the best.
Just because you say spoiler alert.
15 years ago.
Just because you say spoiler alert doesn't mean that you can give away the ending of the damn show.
At least a dozen years ago. How about this? Tony Soprano doesn't get shot at the end of The Sopranos either, people. Saying that The Sopranos.
See, now you're just being a jerk because you know I haven't seen it yet.
Put in the same conversation to me is a little insane. Sons and Sopranos are both great. Sometimes I wonder if you guys argue for the sake of arguing. What? No, we don't. Honestly, I would like nothing more than not want to stab this man in the throat every week, and somehow he comes and performs every week to where he makes me want to do that. And you just said blasphemy, Julianne.
Because I've never seen Sopranos. That's what was the blasphemy.
I know. She says blasphemy. She's emotionally triggered enough to say blasphemy. But then when I start saying something, it's, I think you guys just argue for the sake of argument.
Wow, Combs, can we all say it together? Poor Michelle. Poor Michelle what? What? Because I've never watched Sopranos? Poor Michelle? I can tell you this. Michelle's definitely never seen one episode of The Sopranos. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't believe that.
I could promise you that. Michelle, there are movies that you will say, wow, you remember that? We'll talk about name a classic movie. I guarantee you she hasn't seen it. It's
Pulp
just
Fiction?
I 110% believe she has never watched Pulp Fiction in her life.
You're like borderline abusive. Wow. Doubting Thomas, me and Michelle have watched Sopranos together. Sounds like there was some heavy pedaling and cuddling happening.
Me and Megan would watch some TV shows together, but we don't have time.
Oh, wow.
All right. All right.
You disgust me, sir.
I mean, I know she's your sister, but he started it.
He always starts it. I don't know why you feed into him.
It's easy.
Spoiler alert, Jon Snow had 100 problems because that bitch was definitely one. True. Jeremiah.
All right. You want to get into our picks, get into the football games, week 12,
yeah.
Big slate of games.
Start it up, or are you going to start it up?
It don't matter to me. However you want to do it.
Let's go. The Indianapolis Colts are going into Kansas City. Kansas City is 5-5. They're out of the playoff picture, ladies and gentlemen. Is it Matt Nagy's fault? Probably. Colts, Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are -4 at home against Colts. Some people still not believing in the Colts. Colts are +4. What do you got? Why don't you start us off, Combsy?
I am. Look, I was down on the Chiefs before the season started. I actually have a preseason ticket on the Chiefs to miss the playoffs this year. That being said, 3 times since 2020, the Chiefs have started 5-5. This is the 3rd time that they've started 5-5 since 2020. The 2 previous times, 2021, they went to the Super Bowl and got beat down by the Buccaneers. 2023, they went to the Super Bowl and won the damn thing. So I look at what's going on in Kansas City. Defense has not been great this year. And Jonathan Taylor, I think, can have another big day against this Kansas City defense. I don't know who I would pick to win this game outright on the money line, but I know if I'm going to get one of the best offenses in football and what the Indianapolis Colts have been all year long, and I'm going to get +4.5 points. That's what you said, 4.5?
4
Yeah.
points.
Well, that's fine too. If I'm getting +4 points, more than a field goal with one of the best offenses in football, I'm going to take it every time. So give me the Colts +4.
You and Combs Jr. agreeing. What the hell? Why aren't the lights on the tree? There's lights on the damn tree. There's lights on the tree. He comes in the middle of he's 41 minutes into the show. People have already asked, John, there's lights on the tree. You could see them twinkling. Open your eyes. It's because he's Chinese. He can barely open his eyes. Joseph Fitzgibbon says, Joe, little brother. The award shows all disagree with you. I think he's saying that Sopranos better than Sons of Anarchy. Just telling you.
I don't care what Joe says.
Wow. We'll save the Bears for last. New England Patriots going.
Who did you pick? You didn't pick anybody. You were arguing about the lights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to take the Colts. I think Taylor's the best running back in the league. I think they're going to run all over the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to win that. I think they're going 9-2. I think the Chiefs, they might not make the playoffs this year.
Good, because I have a 14-1 ticket on them to miss the playoffs.
Holmes Jr. already knows the next game we're going to. New England Patriots going into Cincinnati. Jamar Chase will not be playing in this game because he spit on somebody.
Yeah. And Joe Burrow is not starting today. Joe Burrow is out today. Yeah, I'm with Junior. I think the Patriots win this one big. That defense is so damn good. Travion Henderson, the way he's been running the ball is so damn good, and he's probably going to get a chance to run the ball a lot in the second half because
Bengals are +7.5.
Yeah, no, I'm Patriots by 2 scores. I'll take the Patriots. I'll give up the points.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots too. I watched that Bengals team. Especially with Jamar Chase down, I just don't, or suspended. I don't think they can mount much of a defense or an offense against the New England Patriots. I think the New English Patriots go 10-2 today. But anyway, moving on, the New York Jets. Are you
just going to ignore Jeremiah's comment?
I did not see it. I am looking at another screen. Bengals are dead as that Christmas tree. Okay. I will get better lighting. Okay, Jeremiah? You're going to be on one of the shows, and you're going to be picking teams, Jeremiah. We're going to have to look at you. Let's see what your background looks like, sir.
Jules says, what's crazy is he continues to deny it. Like the game is not broadcasted from live from multiple angles, talking about Jamar Chase spitting on
Jamar Chase thing? Yeah.
It's weird.
It is. Like, why would you say you didn't do it anything?
Not only did you
You can't go to a bar these days and say you didn't do so. If you grab some chick's ass, you can't be like, I never did. Like, because
Not
it's
only did
probably on
you
video.
spit, it looked like you like took a mouthful of Gatorade and spit it out. There was so much spit that landed on him. Like it was quite a bit. Jamar, and I don't know why you continue to deny it. He definitely did it.
John, he puts 4 emojis. 4 emojis. He has to put all these words in caps. We know the Bears are playing today. Like, we know they're playing. Why does he have to do this? Leave Ryan alone. The tree looks cute. Thanks, whoever you are, Megan TV, who has no affiliation with me at all. Moving on. Stop. Stop. We're never going to get through the picks.
All right. Next game. Did you lose your spot?
No, I got it. He looks like the neighbor threw it out and Fitz dragged it in from the curb. Shut up, Doubting Thomas. New York Jets going into Baltimore. Tyrod Taylor playing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not going to say who the other quarterback was. I will not name him anymore on the show. Baltimore Ravens are minus 13.5. Minus 13.5. One of the biggest spreads this year. Not the biggest spread of this week, though. It'll be another one. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah. Look,
who do you got?
I don't think Justin Fields was the problem in New York. I really don't. People talk about it all the time, but you look at drops, you look at play calling, you look at the defense and everything that's been going on in New York. I'm not going to blame Justin Fields. I don't think that Tyrod Taylor is going to fix things by any stretch of the imagination. Lamar and them had a bad game last week. Freaking guy got me -6 points in fantasy last week, even though they beat the Browns. I think Lamar bounces back here, and I think that the Ravens have a big game against a really, really, really bad Jets team. So I like the Ravens to cover the 13.5 in this one.
Oh my God, Downey Thomas, because we mentioned his name. Anytime we mention his name, he's got to make a comment. It's one way or the other. The Seattle Seahawks going into there's a lot of long spreads today.
Jeremiah Murray. The Jets have about as much a chance of winning as Griswold over there has of getting that tree lit up.
You are and always have been penis cancer in human form.
Oh.
You got Paul Giamatti with his lazy eye. That's what you got, Jeremiah. Wow. Unbelievable. Let's see what you got, Jeremiah.
Fitz didn't pick a Baltimore Jets winner.
Oh, Jesus, you're right. I'm moving on again.
My God, man.
We're
doing a sports podcast.
If this is Aaron Glenn season 2, he's already fired. So
yeah.
I got Baltimore here. I agree with you. Moving on, Seattle going in to Tennessee. Tennessee Titans, to me, the worst team in the league. Sam Darnold had his first real bad game last week. Seattle. I got Seattle, even though they're minus 11.5 in Tennessee. I have not taken Tennessee in one game this year, and I'm not going to start today.
Yeah, JSN looks like he might be the best wide receiver in all of football. And so I think that they're going to have a big day. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to pass the ball. JSN probably goes for 100 plus. I think both running backs, Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III, can both put up 75 plus rushing yards. I think that Seattle just has a big day. So I'm with the Seahawks as well.
Okay, moving on. Minnesota Vikings going into Green Bay. We've already talked a little bit about this game. Green Bay is minus 6.5 at home. That's 6-3-1. With some hurt players on offense, minus 6.5. I don't know. I think Minnesota keeps this close with their defense. I'm taking Minnesota, even though I think Minnesota might lose this game. I don't think. I just don't think Green Bay wins by more than a touchdown. Green
Yeah,
Bay
look,
minus-
I think Aaron Jones wants to have a big game against his former team. I think that the Vikings defense plays well against the Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna go with the Vikings as well. Not only do the Bears need it, but I don't think that the Packers can cover 6.5, even if they do win the game. You're putting especially when you have no Josh Jacobs, you're putting all your chips into Jordan Love being able to carry your team to a victory. And maybe he does that, but I don't think he does that by more than 6.5 points. So I'm
lot
gonna
of
take the
chips.
Vikings. Yeah, I'm gonna take the
A
Vikings. minus 6.5.
lot of chips.
Plus
Not
6.
supposed to eat that many chips in one sitting. But anyway, another game we already talked about, and the largest spread of the day. The New York Giants are going into Motown against the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions minus 14. Not the largest spread of the year, but pretty close. What was it? Minus 15.
Yeah.
New York Giants taking Jameis Winston, your guy, into Detroit. Who you got, Combs? I'll let you go first.
First, Jeremiah Murray says, I wonder which Minnesota Viking Lizzo hooked up with. I think that matters.
How many sports thoughts do you ever have anymore, Jeremiah?
I mean, it's a good question. What do you think it was JJ? I think it was Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's a
Mm,
good one. What's
Just
Justin
saying.
Jefferson doing? Does it matter if he's married? He's a
Well,
football player.
No, but he's kind of quiet. He's kind of private with his personal life. So
He is.
just saying.
Justin Jefferson?
All right.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Yeah, that's who I would go with.
Do you think it could be J.J. McCarthy's alter ego 9?
Hmm.
No.
No. Look, I'm gonna go. Man, this is a tough one, right? Because I think the Lions are good. I really do. I don't think that they're going away anytime soon. But they have some issues over there, man. And Dan Campbell's calling the plays now.
Sam Laporta is out for the year.
Sam Laporta's out for the year. Like, there's a lot going wrong with Detroit right now. I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going to take the points. I think the Lions will find a way to win this game, but I think the Giants plus the points are the way to go.
Doubting Thomas just fell off his couch into his empty bottle of Little Bad Blue. I'm just saying. I'm going to disagree with you. I don't like the Giants. I've never liked the Giants all season. I'm not going to change this time. All of a sudden, I think Detroit just kills them. I think
You don't believe in the Southside legend Mike Kafka?
Mike Kafka. No, they didn't do the dead cat bounce last week. I don't see it this week. You couldn't beat the damn Packers, Jameis Winston. Come on.
He
Do a
says
little bit
his
more
name.
praying.
Says his name in excitement, and then goes, no. Wow. I did watch Mike Kafka's high school team, St. Lawrence, clinch a spot into the state finals against Brother Rice next week at Illinois State. I will be going to that game. Aubrey's boyfriend is the tight end for St. Lawrence.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Played a hell of a game. We're going to be watching that at Illinois State next week. So congratulations.
No, it's pretty cool. Rita, Brother Rice. Yeah, pretty cool.
All right, next one.
Pretty cool. Where are we at? Jacksonville Jaguars and your Trevor Lawrence going into the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals are only plus 1.5 at home, even though they're 3-7, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are 6-4. Who do you got? Jacoby Brissett, is he the one quarterbacking that whatever Arizona Cardinals team?
I know. And the Jaguars, like, they beat the Chargers by 30 last week.
Yeah, I don't know where.
I don't know what happened to the Chargers. It's like Brandon Staley came back and took over the team for a day.
Yeah,
it's crazy. This Jaguars team is tough to figure out. I mean, blowing a fourth quarter like 27-point lead to Houston the week prior to that. and then going out and just obliterating a much better team in the Chargers. What's the spread?
-1.5 for the
It's basically a
Jaguars.
pick 'em.
Basically,
Yeah, I'll go with the Jags, man. I don't want to do it. I hope the Cardinals win. I hope I'm wrong, but I'll take the Jags. I'll give up the point. I mean, at this point, with watching what they did last week, you have to believe Travis Etienne's going to be able to run on this Cardinals defense, and I just don't know that. I don't know that Jacoby Brissett has enough to keep up with them, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, they are averaging 24 points a game with Jacoby Brissett under center. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to go Jags.
I'm going Cardinals here. This is a weird pick. This is a weird spread in this game. I don't know what Vegas is thinking here. It just seems like one of the weirder ones this week. And I'm going to go for I'm going Cardinals just because they're at home. And I don't believe in Trevor. I think he throws 2 picks today. I don't care even what the Cardinals defense does. Really, I think he does anyway. So the Cleveland Browns going in probably the game you want to miss, or one of the games you want to miss this week. Cleveland Browns going into Las Vegas Raiders. We don't have to waste much time here. I'm going with the Raiders just because they're at home. They're -3.5.
Well, the Browns have not won a road game since week 2 of last year. And they have not had a quarterback win his first game as a starter since Eric Zaire in 1995. That is an incredible stat. For a fan of a franchise that has had some terrible quarterback play, to hear that stat, like not one quarterback has won their first start since 1995.
Does it warm your heart? Does it warm your heart?
So you look at that, you look at those numbers, you wonder how much craziness Max Crosby is going to cause on Shadur Sanders, who was 4 of 16 last week for 47 yards and an interception. I'm going to go against the numbers. I'm going to take the Browns. I think Shadur actually balls out today.
Wow.
Give me the Browns. They've got a quarterback that can't throw a forward pass.
True. The Raiders do.
The Raiders.
I think they're a better coach team, maybe. Maybe Pete Keller's lost a step. Anyway, I did want to mention, Juliet's right. He did lose that game in Jameis fashion. And I did say that Jameis might lose that game last week in that fashion on this show, and you agreed with me, and then it happened. I forgot to mention that today. Anyway, moving on, Atlanta Falcons going to New Orleans Saints. Let's not spend too much time on this. I think the Falcons win. Falcons are +1.5 going into New Orleans.
Kirk Cousins playing. They lost Michael Penix for the year. He's having another ACL reconstruction, his third ACL reconstruction since college. I don't trust Kirk Cousins, but and what time does this game start? Is this a noon start?
No, it's 3:00 start.
It makes it even worse. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. I know they're favored for the first time all year. I'm going with the Saints and Tyler Shubb against Kirk Cousins, who only wins at noon, even when he was good. Give me the Saints. God,
pretty interesting game. The Bears going to Philadelphia next week. Philadelphia is going in to Dallas this week. Dallas Cowboys +3.5 at home. Interesting game. Dallas playing better this year against that pretty tough Philadelphia Eagles team. I'm still taking the Eagles here. I still don't trust the Dallas Cowboys. What say you, Combsy?
I'm going to go Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas here just because, look, the Dallas's offense has been good all season long, and they've performed all season long. And I just don't think that Philadelphia's offense, the way they've been playing over the last few weeks, can keep up. I really don't. I don't trust Jalen Hurts to keep up. I mean, Jalen Hurts can't seem to get over the 160-yard passing mark. And I don't know how you keep up with this offense if you can't do it. And Saquon Barkley hasn't been able to run the ball. I think he found the end zone twice this year, and both times were in the same game like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I don't think that Philly has enough offense to keep up with Dallas. So I'm going to go Dallas. Dad went Dallas just because I went Philly. No, I went Dallas because I was always going Dallas, and I already made my picks well
Yeah,
before I knew what your picks were.
Always does this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going into the Los Angeles Rams. The Bucs have not been good lately. The Los Angeles, the Rams are -7 in this game. -7 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who look so good just 4 or 5 weeks ago. What's happening? I'm going to give you the first pick here, Holmesy.
Matthew Stafford's the MVP of this football league. Matthew Stafford is going to torch this depleted Bucs defense. The reason why the Bucs haven't been good is because every single one of their wide receivers, minus Buka, is hurt, and even Buka was hurt for a week. I mean, they are just so depleted offensively. Matthew Stafford, I think, has a day. I think he has 3+ touchdowns. I'm going to go with them. And Tampa Bay losing opens up the door for the Carolina Panthers if they win on Monday night.
Oh, God.
Take first place of the NFC South.
Foreshadowing the next game. I'm going to have to pick against the Buccaneers for one of the first times all season, even with this spread. I agree. I don't see how you don't see the Los Angeles Rams as the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
Especially the way Stafford's playing. And
maybe all the NFL.
Remember with his back at the beginning of the year that he wasn't going to play one of the toughest quarterbacks I've seen play. Period.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, you were just foreshadowing the Carolina Panthers going into the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are -7, just like the Los Angeles Rams were. I'll give you first pick since Panthers are sort of your.
I'm going to take the Panthers +7. I think the Panthers actually win this one outright. I think Bryce Young, look, the San Francisco 49ers are so hurt defensively. I mean, you think that the Bears' defensive injuries are bad? Go look at the injury report for the San Francisco 49ers because they are really depleted on that side of the football. I think Carolina's playing better football offensively. I think Bryce Young is playing better offensively. I think Carolina wins this game outright. I think they take control of the NFC South.
Gonna have to disagree with you there. I think San Francisco wins this game. I just don't think the Panthers are consistent enough. They haven't been all season. This is a game I think where they get they've always they get a little bit of success and then they throw it away. And I think they do that again here. And big, probably by 2 touchdowns going into San Francisco. I think it gets away from them pretty quickly. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming into our Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are -2.5 this game. I do have the Bears winning by a touchdown. It is a scary game. I hear everything Jeremiah is saying, even though Jeremiah wants me to be more optimistic. And then they're playing a pedestrian Pittsburgh Steelers team at home, and he's scared. Okay, Jeremiah. Anyway, I got the Bears winning this game.
Yeah, look, this game just kicked off as well. I'm watching Caleb Williams walk out onto the field. The Bears, I think that they're better than what people are giving them credit for. People are looking at the quarterbacks that they've played over the last 6 weeks. People are looking at, the schedule they've played over the last 6 weeks, and they're not believing in this football team. I think that this offense shows up today. I think they have a fantastic day. I think the Bears win this football game, and I think that they cover the 2.5. So give me the Bears today. All right. Hey, there's just no need to be climatic. This Bears team is actually good, people. It's okay to admit it. I understand BTSD is a thing, but the Bears are actually good, and they're going to win this football game today. We're going to go watch it. We will see you guys after we go watch it. Join us for Bears post-game after the show. If you don't join us for Bears post-game after the show, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
probably in the bathtub with Jeremiah.
Probably in the bathtub with Jeremiah is right. Until next week, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies.